So we're at Chicago Music Exchange, and this is my friend Davy Knowles on Paul Reed Smith. And we're going to go over eventually what we call Paul's guitar, but it all started with the genesis of a project that you worked on with me and with Tom Wheeler and Miles Kennedy and Tim Pierce and Tom Wheeler and you, and it was a Mike Alt, it was a whole bunch of us involved. And Howard Leese was involved in it as well. And the whole goal of that project was, can we make a guitar that has single coils and double coils and you don't lose any volume on the single coils, and the single coils sound real, they don't sound anemic, right? So maybe, Davey, you could play the bass pickup and let me see, add a little bit of here, but play the bass pickup and on humbucking. What do you get? Yep. And then in single coil. And then treble pickup same way, humbucking. Single coil. And the whole idea was you don't have any volume loss when you went to a single coil. Now the thing that's interesting about single coils is that if it's on the same guitar, there's going to be some of the same character, but for me, it was like, let me just grab the guitar from me for a second. For me, it was like on the bass pickup, if you were going, on the single coil, it was very single coil. And humbucking, same volume. It wasn't a volume change, right? So then what happened was we made, a whole pile of them in private stock, and then we made a whole pile of them in production. And the signature guitar sold out both runs, and we sold them all, and it went really well, and they all sold through, and people started to scream for the guitar. So we came out with something called a 408. And the 408 has a wider pickup back here and a narrower pickup here. It's like the original signature guitar, but it has a 5-way switch on it. And it got really clear we were also going to let go of the Modern Eagle, and so we decided to release clones of this guitar, this exact private stock that I play. And I was starting to use this narrower bobbins from the bass pickup in the treble position to get more of a focused sound, because the band is starting to get really big. It's 3 guitar players, there's an organ player, now Benji's playing with us, and Gary and Greg, and then Wizard plays from time to time, and you know, and you've been in the band, there's been 3 or 4 guitar players, and if I don't have a really clear voicey tone, it gets kind of sort of lost. So I decided on the guitars that I was going to play, I was going to try to sense a little shorter piece of string so it was a little clearer. And so this is basically the guitar that you and me and Howard and everybody else signed off on, but with this thing sensing a narrower part of string, and that's what it was. Then somebody sent the birds as brushstrokes instead of birds. So if you back up, it looks like birds, but if you're close to it, it looks like brushstrokes. And they went over pretty well. This private stock guitar has mammoth ivory inlays, and the ones that we're releasing as what they call Paul's guitar, which is the worst name in the world, but I'm having to deal with it as Carlos Santana's Deal Paul. It has ivory, it's kind of a faux ivory in it. So that's kind of what's up. Also, there's something very interesting. Have you seen this, Davey? The little brass inserts on the bridge.
You pointed out these just where the string breaks.
Yeah, there's little teeny brass inserts in the bridge. This was the very, very first one that we did. So it's not shiny, but the ones now that are in the stores, it's so buffed you can't even see that there are these little things unless you really look. So that's kind of what it is. Can you play a little bit for everybody?
Yeah,
So when you play your signature, how do you set these switches?
Well, I really like it with the neck actually tapped into single coil position, and then the bridge and full humbucking, just because I love that fluty single coil tone that you can get from
on the bass pickup.
Yeah,
so try
from-
that.
from
Because
the
if you
neck.
had it the other way.
Yep. See, it's still got a lot of definition there. This is it humbucking again to get the difference. And then, so I've got that kind of fluty sound right there. Just backing it straight to the treble, and I've got that humbucking, that really punchy humbucking sound. And then back. And just by changing your pick attack, really, you can get those two sounds just by setting it like that. So that's been my favourite setting for these guitars.
And what I've been doing is leaving it like this when I play live, and then I'm in this when we're recording way more than you would even suspect. And because there's something about, you know, this tone here, which is for chords, which is both in single coil. Another thing for distorted rhythm in single coil like this is really cool. And if you're fighting for a lot of airspace in a track and you want it to sound really musical and not bright, that's a good place to be, right? So if you do the same exact rhythm in humbucking, what is it? So if you were the only guitar player in the band, that would be one thing. But for me, the band that we're playing is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I never understood why these bands, like Bob Marley's band and Sly and the Family Stone, all these guys had so many people playing. But if you get a groove going that goes something like a and there's 10 guys doing it, the whole place starts to move. This pulse starts to happen, and there's the combination thing of all the people locking up that's really cool. So, you know, I think all of us would love to have, you know, somehow been Hendrix in some level, one guitar player and God, right? But it's also very cool when you've got a big group of people where there's a time lock that goes on and the whole audience starts to move together, right? We call them pulse tunes, and it's a lot of fun. And so, you know, there are places for all these things. Mm-hmm. The thing I like about these guitars with these switches is we never go for another guitar in the studio. It'll always give us what we want.
Yeah. I've just recorded a whole album using one of the signatures.
Did you have any trouble getting single coil, double coil tones, or looking for something?
No, and a lot of the time will be with a similar amp setting. You're just changing it on the guitar, change the volume on the guitar, and your approach, and you're there.
Can you play just a little bit more for everybody?
Yeah, of course.
And go back to your favorite setting here. That's Davy Knowles, everybody. From the Chicago Music Exchange, I'm Paul Reed Smith. Thank you very much for having us.